Good morning, everyone. And thank you very much for having me here. And it is very fortunate that my presentation is after Mr. Nicolaou, because Bank of Cyprus, as has been mentioned, is listed on the London Stock Exchange. And we're also very proud to have hosted the sustainable government bonds from the government of Cyprus on the London Stock Exchange as well. So this is actually how we interact with Cyprus, is to provide an additional secondary pool of international investment and liquidity for companies and the government of Cyprus. So I have only 3 slides. I will be very brief, just to set the scene for the global performance, equity markets performance. So I sit within the capital markets. I've been with the London Stock Exchange Group for 15 years. And we have seen recently unprecedented turbulence in international markets. First after the pandemic, then the banking volatility globally after the collapse of SVB, Credit Suisse, in the US and in Europe. But interestingly, that we see that since January 2022 and 2020, actually, the European stocks have recovered. So it's overall largely more or less flat performance, actually slightly positive, sort of 3 to 5%, while US markets are still very volatile and actually 10 to 13% down since 2020. So what does it say? It says that while Cyprus is the jewel in terms of market performance overall in Europe, and very similar to the presidential advisor, we're using Europe as Europe and UK, irrespective of the politics and Brexit. Actually, European markets are also slightly outperforming on the global basis. What's really important, and we'll talk about this in the discussion, is the role that capital markets play when times are hard. So when times are good, there's lots of liquidity, lots of money going around, no credit crunch, everything's great. But when the times are hard, it is the way of companies to raise follow-on capital. So actually have this essential access to capital to maintain their strategy, maintain their growth. And what we can see here, the 2 graphs, is the performance of the follow-on markets. So companies tapping their existing investors through the public markets in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis and the pandemic. What we're seeing this year, and again the stats here, 128 follow-on offerings by listed companies in London. Nearly $11.5 billion raised by these companies. So these are not IPOs, these are existing companies tapping the market, companies like Bank of Cyprus. And that's a #1 overall in Europe. So, and this is my final slide. It's really important to say that London as a financial center doesn't seek to replace the local market, because local markets play a very crucial role in supporting local companies, creating jobs, developing talent, all of what we're driving the digital transformation, everything that we've been talking about today. But it has a role to play as a secondary home if you want to diversify the investor pool and tap the global financial markets. So in London, what we're doing is we have the Capital Markets Industry Task Force, which is reforming and simplifying the admission rules, regulatory rules, but also ensuring that pension funds, insurance funds actually support growth companies, not just from the UK, but globally. So that's really important. So I'm very happy to have a discussion about this today and also answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.